What's going on, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Perna podcast. And today I want to give you my 5 secrets on productivity. 5 secrets. Secrets always sound so funny. Sorry I used the word secrets. I wish I could take it back. I can't. They're secrets, all right? But now I'm going to reveal them. So I'm going to get straight into it. The biggest one for me is a morning routine. So this is pretty frowned upon sometimes because I think some people take the concept of a morning routine and they take the piss and stretch it into this like self-help kind of psychedelic journey of, 3 hours later, you got nothing done. It's kind of like the opposite of productivity. Whereas my morning routine is absolutely for productivity, and it's kind of like relates to the second point as well. But I do the thing that I either will never get done or I don't like. I do that first typically in my morning routine. So I'll tell you my morning routine, and it kind of changes depending, but typically it goes a little like this when I wake up, which is usually 6:30, and I don't set an alarm because otherwise I'm in the middle of a sleep cycle and I feel terrible. So I wake up and then I go get some caffeine. So Huberman says you're supposed to delay caffeine for at least 90 minutes. And I'm like, can't do that. I'll be miserable. So I get my caffeine straight away, bring it back to bed. Why? Because I don't want to sit at my desk because then I'll feel like I'm working all day. So I don't like that. So I get back to bed with my laptop and I do some work on my laptop. Now, what kind of work this is will depend on typically what I've got, but it's usually creative stuff or it's a bit of admin, bit of both. So sometimes I'll do 15 minutes of admin, like emails, things like that, because otherwise I'll never get it done because I kind of despise it. And then I'll do around 30 to 45 minutes of really solid creative work. And this is often like planning stuff. This is big picture thinking, like things that I know I have to do, like long-term stuff, but I don't get around to it. So typically it's a lot of planning stuff. Sometimes it was content planning, sometimes business planning, marketing planning. I'll do all that in the mornings, and then it sets me up a bit and I can help structure my day the way that I want to. So I do that for probably maybe 2 hours. I work probably until 8:30, and then I'm like, cool, I just knocked a whole chunk out, and then I'll have cold shower typically, and then I tend to get back into it for another 2 hours. I have my second bit of caffeine, so a long black, and I'll get into a different type of work, so different tasks for another kind of 2 hours, and then I block it that way. So I kind of consider that morning because it's all before 11 a.m. and it doesn't change. And it's actually, sometimes it's my best working hours. That's what I'll get into in point 2 in a second. But I dedicate that in the morning and I do that religiously. I found if I train in the morning, it actually kind of fucks me because I use my best mental energy in the gym and then I'm like drained and then I feel a bit tired and then I can't be bothered. Whereas there's been times where I felt amazing and energized after a workout, but lately if I train in the morning, it's like I'm using my good brain energy on my session, which I don't need because I can always turn it on in the gym. But sometimes I can't turn it on when I'm not feeling motivated to work. So that's what I found the sweet spot for me is morning, no distractions, no phone, nothing, no communication with people, no doing anything else other than what I am supposed to do. Because I wake up in a certain way and usually I feel fresh, like a newborn baby. I'm like ready to go. And if I see something or scroll social media or see something that like puts me in a bad state of mind, it's going to affect my creativity. It's going to affect how I do that next thing. So I don't want that to affect it at all. And honestly, it feels like I'm in a different brain sometimes. I'll plan stuff in the morning and I'll revisit it later and go, that's kind of cooked, but that's good. Like feels like a different person wrote it. Like it might be a video script and I'll be like, that's hilarious. Like as if I wrote that, like, but it'll be in a really bad way. Like sometimes it'll be really offensive videos or something like that. But it's like, it's good because I'm less prone to judgment, I reckon, first thing in the morning. Don't know why. It's just something I found. This is getting into point number 2, is that not all time is created equal. So you got to allocate the right tasks for your right time. So for me, like I said, that's all my creative stuff in the morning. I do better at that then. So an hour in the morning on that stuff is probably equal to me doing 3 hours of it at the end of the day in terms of my productivity level. So I'll repeat that if that kind of didn't make sense. Me doing one particular task in the morning for an hour is probably just as good as me doing that same task at the end of the day for 3 hours. Whatever the reason, I am slower, I can't do it as quick, I'm not as motivated to do it, I don't enjoy it as much. I don't know what it is, but for me, that's why the creative stuff happens in the morning. And then throughout the rest of the day, towards the end of the day is when I don't work my best. And so I tend to do the things that maybe just have to be done a little bit more. So meetings, things like that, I try to shift them to the later part of the day just because I'll get them done, but I don't need to rely on that kind of mental bandwidth as much, if that makes sense. So in my opinion, allocate the time where you feel great and doing those things to the certain part of the day. So if you're filming content or whatever that is, you need to do that when you feel your best, not when you kind of feel your worst. And you need to block out those times to do those things. So that's why not all time is created equal, in my opinion. Have a go at this. Let me know what that is for you, what version of that is for you. Third one is set timers. I actually learned this from just training. Like the days in the gym that I felt really unmotivated, I would always set a timer for my rest time because otherwise I'm on my phone, I'm stuffing around and I'm wasting a lot of time and it sucks. So set timers if you're feeling feeling like you just want to get through something. Sometimes I'll do it when I'm working and I think, okay, I'm just going to edit this video real quick. I'm going to set a 20-minute timer. Otherwise, I'm going on for hours. Set timers. They keep you accountable. I think we all need parameters and like boundaries. Otherwise, we just kind of keep going and go over time and then blame everything else and freak out. So set a timer to keep you accountable and to keep you locked into that particular time frame, and then move on, do the next thing. I find if you have a deadline, you will finish that thing straight away, as opposed to like extending the deadline. You'll extend the time it takes to get the job done. Parkinson's law, that's what that is. If you say, oh, give me 2 weeks, it'll take 2 weeks. If you say, give me a day, it should take a day. Next one is plan ahead. I do this every evening. I plan ahead what I want to do the next day, but I also plan ahead my timetable for the week. So I will make sure the things I want to get done that week in my calendar. If they're not in my calendar, they don't get done. I miss so many things if I just pretend like I'll remember it. I write it down in my calendar, even if it's a simple work task or whatever, it goes in there. So plan ahead as much as humanly possible. Last point is the most important for me lately. This is the secret, the magic trick, and it's to batch my task. So this is something I never really done before. I was going from always doing things sporadically, and now what I've been doing a lot is batching tasks for when I'm feeling up for it, and it saves a lot of time. The example is like the switching cost of you doing one thing and then doing something else is massive. So imagine like you're filming a video and you're doing something like this, you're shooting, and then all of a sudden you go to do emails, and then now you're doing emails, you're getting caught up in everyone's problems, you're trying to fix stuff, then you go back to filming. You got to get in that zone again. Your first 5 minutes of filming is going to be awkward as, and you're going to not feel right. You got to set the camera up again. You got to change your lights or whatever. You got to turn your mic on, as opposed to, and then you go back to your emails again. You're going to be like, oh, I've had something else in my mind. I can't really do this properly. So those little tiny things in between, the switching costs, it's like they add up a lot. So what I've been doing is I will dedicate time, and I put in my calendar to do a lot of the thing. So if you're just doing it once and you're going to film one video, don't film 5. If you're planning one video, plan 10. That's what I've been doing a lot of the time. Even with emails, I might wait 2 days and I'll do all my emails in one go instead of doing email by email throughout the day. Because every time you have to switch and multitask, you're getting out of that zone that you were in mentally, and you're entering another one. Every time I go to plan videos, I'm in a creative planning state. Every time I go into film a video, I'm now in a more of a performing one, right? Because I've got to get pumped up. I've got to get, okay, what am I saying? Think about the effect, that stuff. I've got to turn all my stuff on, get to set up my equipment, all those things. But more importantly, like the way that you perform, the way that you are in that mindset is different depending on the task. So try and batch the tasks for simplicity and to also save time and prevent switching costs as well. So get your best work done and be productive and do the thing 5 times or 10 times instead of doing it once. Try that, see how it goes. I guarantee that one will probably make the biggest difference. But as a bit of a summary, get a morning routine for yourself. I think find the best time that you're going to work as well. Set timers for how long you're going to do specific tasks for. Plan ahead, plan your week, plan your day, and then also batch your tasks. Now, if any of that helped, I would love the best 5-star review you guys could possibly give me. Also, just subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'd love to see you guys in the next video. Oh, and also send me a message on Instagram if something helps you on here, or share this in your story. I'd love to see it. I want to start connecting with you guys a lot more. So if you're here and you're loving it, thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.